Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Shabbat morning services here at Temple Beth Israel on this Shabbat morning, where we've come together as family, as friends, to celebrate, to be with each other, to support one another as community is wanted to do. We're going to continue with our services after this beautiful rendition of Amar Tovu, and wonderful to have Ruach in the congregation this morning singing with us. We are on page 194, and before I begin with the prayer for our bodies, I'd like to welcome those of you who are joining us through our live streaming through TBI TV. The prayer for our bodies. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatza et ha'adam b'chokhmah u'bara'avon kavim b'kavim chalolim b'chalolim galui v'yadua lifnei chesed chavodecha שאם יפתח אחד מהם או יסתם אחד מהם אי אפשר לקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה אדוני רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות.
אלוהי אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי טהוראי. אלוהי אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי אתה בראת, אתה יצרת, אתה נפחת לי, ואתה משמרה מקרבי, כל זמן שהשמה מקרבי.
Continue with the Nisim B'chol Yom on page 198.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher nata masavir bina, v'havin ben yom u'ben layla.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, pokech ivrim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, zokech kefufim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, barakah haaretz al hamayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, המכין מצעדי גבר.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, הנותן לעייף כוח.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamavir shenai me'enai, v'hima me'afapai.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, שעשני בצלם אלוהים.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, שעשני ב'harim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, שעשני ישראל.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, עוזי ישראל בגבורה.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, עוזר ישראל בתפארה.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו לעסוק בדברי תורה.
We wish Michelle Mazel Tov, you'll become a bat mitzvah next Shabbat. Mazel Tov, that was beautiful. So we've just recited the blessing for Torah study. I invite you to join with me on page 204. V'harevna Adonai Eloheinu et divrei Toratcha b'finu v'fi Amcha Beit Yisrael v'niyeh anachnu v'tzeitzeinu v'tzeitzeei Amcha Beit Yisrael v'lanu yodei shemecha v'lomdei Toratecha lishma Baruch atah Adonai hamlamed Torah la'amo Yisrael.
אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור, 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 אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור,
Shabbat is Shabbat Shoftim, the part of the Torah portion, which literally means Shoftim, means judges, and embellished throughout this parsha are ideas of justice, social justice, community justice, legal justice, personal justice. And so I thought for the text study this morning we would read Psalm 15 on page 211, which kind of falls just in a section called Kaddish de Rabbanan, Kaddish for our teachers, and these are the things that we should learn, and not only learn, but also do. O God, who may abide in your house, who may dwell in your holy mountain, those who are upright, who do justly, who speak the truth within their hearts, who do not slander others or wrong them or bring shame upon them, who scorn the lawless and who honor those who revere God, who give their word and come what may, will not take it back, who do not exploit others, who do not take bribes. Those who live in this way shall never be shaken. The Sukkah de Zimra begins on page 212.
Baruch Shamar Olam, Baruch Ozeh Bereshit, Baruch Omer Ve'oseh, Baruch Ozer Umekayem, Baruch Merachem al Haaretz, Baruch Merachem al Habriot, Baruch Meshalem Tzachar Tov Lireah, Baruch Ha'ilan, V'kayam Lanetzach, Baruch Bodeh Umatzil, Baruch Shemo.
בשבחות וזמירות נגדל לך ונשבחך ונפארך ונזכיר שמך ונמליכך מלכנו אלוהינו יחיד חי העולמים מלך משובח ומפאר עדי עד שמו הגדול ברוך אתה אדוני מלך מהולל ותשבח.
בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות עלה עשור ועלה נבל עלה היגיון בכינור נזכור שיר ליום השבת טוב לכבודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון שימחתני אדוני מבולך במעשה ידיך רנן הגדלו מעשיך אדוני מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך איש בעל לא ידע וכסיל לא יבין את זאת מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון צדיק אתה
אשרי יושבי ביתך, עוד יהללו הסלע.
אשרי העם כחלום, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו.
תהילה לדוד, ארימך, אלוהי המלך, ואברך שמך לעולם ועד.
בכל יום אברכך ועלה שמך לעולם ועד.
גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, ולי גדולתו אין חקר.
דור לדור ישבח מעשיך וגבורתך יגידו.
הדר כבוד הודיך ודברי נפלאותיך עשיך.
וזוז נורתך יאמרו וגדולתך אספרנה.
זכר רב טובייך לי ובצדקתך ימננו.
חנון ורחום אדוני ערך אפיים וחסד.
טוב אדוני לכל ורחמיו על כל מעשיו.
יודוך אדוני כל מעשיך וחסידיך יברכוך.
כבוד מלכותך יאמרו וגבורתך ידברו.
להודיע לבניך גבורתיו וכבוד הדר מלכותו.
מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים וממשלתך בכל דור.
סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים ותוקף לכל הכיפופים.
עיני כל אליך יסבבו ואתה נותן לכם את זכרם לאיתו.
פותח את ידיך ומשפיע לכל חי רצון.
צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו וחסיד בכל מעשיו.
קרוב אדוני לכל גורם לכל אשר יקראו באמת.
רצון יראיו יעשה בעת שבתם נשמע ויושיע משם.
שומר אדוני את כל אוהביו ואת כל הרשעים ישמיד.
תהילת אדוני ידבר פי וברך כל לשון שקודשו לעולם ועד.
ואנחנו נברך ימי עצרת אדוני. Hallelujah.
Wish Eli Yeshikoach people come up bar mitzvah on the 12th of October, which is right between Yom Kippur and Sukkot, Mazal Tov. And thank you for the beautiful rendition of Ashrei, which is to the melody Anim Smirot, and it's something you learned at school, right? Scopus? At Scopus. That's Mazal Tov. Psalm 150 on page 280.
Hallelujah, 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 heaven control, hallelujah, hallelujah, Mekia Uzol, hallelujah.
page 223 as we close our Pesukei Zimra, verses of praise. Yishtabach Shimcha la'ad malkeinu, ha'el ha'melech ha'gadol v'ha'kadosh b'shamayim v'ba'aretz. Ki lecha na'eh Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu, shir u'shvacha, halal v'zimra, ozu memshela, netzach g'dulag barach, teila v'tiferet kedusha malchut, barachot v'hodaot, me'ata ve'ad olam.
Baruch ata Adonai el melech gadol בתשבחות אל ההודעות הדון הנפלאות הבוחר בשירי זמרה מלך אל כעולמים.
Let's rise for the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא נברא חירותי והמליך מלכותי בחיי חון ובימי חון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בגלה ובצמחים ויאמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם מעלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתבר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה וימחו לילה מנכ"ל ברכתה ושירתה ושמתה ונחמתה תאיר בעלמה ויאמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
We may be seated and we continue with the blessing for the morning for the day, Yotzer, page 228. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Yotzer or v'rei choshech, oseh shalom v'rei et hakol, ha'meir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha b'rachamim, v'tuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamed ma'aseh v'reishit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita, malah ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, v'al morei or she'asita yefarucha selah. Or Chadash al Tzion Ta'ir, v'nizkeh chulanu mehera le'oro, Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaOrot. On page 231. Love your neighbor as yourself, you said, and like blinded we saw that inner and outer worlds are one, as you are one. You spoke and we wrote. We reached for you down the centuries, your light moving before us as we climbed, fell back, and climbed again. Your Sinai of life. Baruch atah Adonai, habocheh ba'amo Yisrael, ba'ahava.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננת לבביך ודיברת בשבתך ובביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם מאוד רגליך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבת על מזוזות בביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לבנותם ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בציציתכם, והיה לכם לציצית וראיתם אותו וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם שונאים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם כראשים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
And to continue the theme of justice from our parasha on page 239. The eternal truth is that you alone are God and there is none else. May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Let nation not lift up sword against nation, nor learn war anymore. You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart. The stranger that lives amongst you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor? Asked God. We know that the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy. Praise to God Most High, blessed is God, and deserving of blessing.
Mi kamo Elim Adonai, mi kamo Adonai Kodesh, Norat Tehillo Oseh Veleh, Shira Chadasha, Shimchu Geolim Leshimcha, Atzvat Hayam Yachad Kulam Odu Vein Lichu Ve'amru Adonai Himlo Leolam Va'ed. Tzur Yisrael Kuma Be'ezrat Yisrael Udechinu Mecha Yehuda veYisrael Go'aleinu Adonai Tzevaot Shemo Kedosh Yisrael Baruch Ata Adonai
Baruch Shema.
Gal Yisrael.
The Amidah begins on 242.
Adonai Sevatai Tivtach Uvi Yagid Teilatecha Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא העליון גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו ואהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי ביתי ואתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים צומח נופלים ורובה חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידות אלה מלך ממיץ מחיי ומצמיח ישוע גבוה, ונאמנת להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם מקדישים אותו לשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאיך, וכרזה את זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני מקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו ואבינו מלכנו ומושיענו והוא יחציינו ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהי ציון לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד תוד לך ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש בשבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
As we are seated, we continue with Yismachu on page 250.
ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. מקדשי שביעי שבת כולם יזבחו ויתנו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ועזבי רצית בו וקדשת שבת. תמדד ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת.
On page 252, as Kedushat Hayom continues, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu ritzei v'milchatenu, Hadshenu b'mitzvotecha v'ten chalkenu b'toratecha. סבנו מקרבך ושמחנו בישועתך, ותהר ליבנו לעובדך באמת. והנחילנו, אדוני אלוהינו, באהבה ורצון שבת קודשך, וינוחו בה ישראל, מקדשי שמך. ברוך אתה, אדוני, מקדש השבת. On page 255. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer to life, to peace, and to joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah. Let us feed on the love of goodness, let us drink from the love of goodness, restrain our thirst for excess, and cleanse our hearts to serve life well. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer in life, in peace, and in joy. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha, vayir'ah na'avot. In the prayer of thanksgiving, hoda'ah, for the expanding grandeur of creation, world, known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations. For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons. For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements. For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression. For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared. For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom. For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose. We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shivcha, ulecha na'eh lehodot.
ישראל בשלום. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Oh, say shalom bimrocha. Oh, yeah, say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Imru, Amen. Oh, say shalom bimrocha. Oh, yeah, say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel.
My friends, we continue now with Seder Kriyat Torah Shabbat, the order for reading Torah on this Shabbat, on page 362.
אין כמוך באלוהים אדוני, ואין כמעשיך. מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עולם ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. הרחמים היטיבה ברצונך את ציון. תבנה חומות ירושלים, תבנה חומות ירושלים. כי בך לבד בעטנו, מלך אל רם ונישא אדון עולמים. ויהי בצהרון ויאמר משה, קומה אדוני ויחוצו אויביך וינוסו משנאיך מפניך. כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני בירושלים.
When I was walking around with the Torah, somebody turned to me and said, "Rabbi, you've got a bit of a shelf now to carry the Torah on." I'm sure I'm going to get lots more comments like this throughout the way. So our parasha this morning, as I mentioned earlier, is Shoftim, which literally means judges, and it's known as the Torah portion in a way of social justice. I'm going to focus on certain parts of the drash, and I'm going to of the parasha, and I'm going to share. I have some sheets which we'll hand out later. I'm going to share a couple of texts for a little bit for us to have a discussion. I'll do a very short introduction or an introduction into the concept I want us to have a look at. This is going to be something that, John, you're going to love, because I'm going to be talking a little bit about the environment and our attitude towards the environment from the Torah portion and from text. Because if we just think about what's going on in the world now environmentally, it's quite scary, and it really brings to the forefront. And I'm just talking about the stuff that we see on the media, never mind the stuff that is happening that we don't see. And so as we continue in our Torah readings, our first Lena this morning is Caroline. And so Caroline, I'd like to invite you onto the bima. And for our Aliyot, which is a combination of birthdays and for anniversaries, we're on page 1468, 1468 of the Plaut commentary, which, as you know, are scattered throughout the congregation. And we call to Torah.
So for our first Aliyah, Caroline, we're Lane, and for the Aliyah we invite Howard and Peter, Ian and Shandel and George and Ruth to come to Torah. Ya'amdu David Shlomo ben Michael, Mordechai ben Shlomo ben Naomi, Tzvi Mordechai ben Rafael וזימה, ושנדל בת חיים ומלכה, ושמעון ben Abraham, ורות בת פנחס, ראשונים לעלייה, לתורה. We will be. Just want to point where we begin. Sit. And if you'll join me. Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachanu mikol ha'amim ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה Adonai נותן התורה.
Amen. You will find us on page 1468, right-hand column, bottom line, fourth wording. 1468, right-hand column, bottom line, fourth wording.
Amen. Lo tasik evoreacha asher gavlu rishonim benachalatecha asher tinchal ba'aretz asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha lerishta lo yakum echad beish lechol avon ulechol chatat lechol chetei asher yecheta al pi shnei edim o al pi shlosha edim yakum davar ki yakum idchas chamaz beish la'anot bo sara ve'amdu shnei ha'anashim asher lahem hariv lifnei Adonai lifnei hakohenim ve'hashoftim asher yehiyu bayamim hahem ve'darshu hashoftim hetev ve'hinei et sheker ha'ed sheker eina be'achiv va'asitem lo ka'asher zamam la'asot le'achiv uvi'areta hara mikirbecha ve'hansharim yishmeu va'ira'u ve'lo yasfu la'asot or karava hara hazeh b'kirbecha ve'lo tachos einecha nefesh be'nefesh ein be'ein shen be'shen yad be'yad regel be'regel.
Kol hakavod. Is key. And the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Mishaberach Avotenu v'hametzach v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarif karachel v'leim. May the God of our ancestors bless you as you're called to Torah, in honor of Torah, in honor of God, in honor of Shabbat, in honor of special anniversaries that you are celebrating. And at a certain point, Ruth and George, you get to an anniversary that every year is special. Celebrating your 48th wedding anniversary, you guys thought you were going to be the oldest in terms of, not oldest on the bima, but longest in terms of your anniversary, Shanel and Ian, celebrating only 45 years. And those celebrations of, I'll have to talk to you after services to find out what your secrets are. But one person said to me once, they said, you know, the secret, and somebody had been married for 50, 60 years, said, you know, the secret is when you go to bed, you always make sure that your feet touch. Is that true? No comment. Did you see that? Complete silence. And Peter and Howard celebrating your birthdays at this year. Howard celebrating his 75th, and your grandson was in the congregation. He disappeared. But it's wonderful to have you and to celebrate. And Peter, for your celebration of your birthday, celebrating 82 years, and you came with Barbie, and it's wonderful to have you on the Bima to celebrate at this time. May you all only know smachot, may you only know times of joy, times of celebration, because as we know, it's those thinking of those times that get us through each and every day. And with God's blessing, we say Amen and Mazel Tov.
Mazel Tov. For our second Aliyah, we invite Jean Zimmel to come to Torah, and Rena will lane for us.
The section that was just read, that Caroline read, was the section where it talked about an eye for an eye and a foot for a foot. And of course we know today that we really just mean that metaphorically, not literally to have that kind of retribution.
It always disappoints me, really, you know. Vengeful God and all that. Yeah.
That says more about you than anything.
Okay, so blessing before the Torah. Et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Va'ed, Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, ve'natan lanu et tfilto, Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
כי תצא למלחמה על אויביך וראית סוס ורכב עם רב ממך לא תירא מהם כי אדוני אלוהיך עמך המעלך מארץ מצרים והיה כקרובכם אל המלחמה וניגש הכהן ודיבר אל העם ואמר עליהם שמע ישראל אתם קרבים היום למלחמה על אויביכם אל ירע לבבכם אל תיראו ואל תבזו ואל תארצו מפניהם כי אדוני אלוהיכם ההולך עמכם לכם עם אויביכם להושיע אתכם.
חזקי. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו ברוך אתה אדוני Amen. Mishberach Avotenu Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. God who blessed our ancestors, please Eugene, as you come today in honor of Shabbat, in honor of Torah, in honor of all of these marvelous people who have had honors before you, in honor of that choir who loves you dearly, and the members who have been working with you, one of whom is right there, is Caroline Paz, and the other isn't here today, but Glenda also has been working with you. And in honor of all the work that you have put in over how many years total?
20.
20 years as our librarian. So for those of you who may not have seen the amazing work of your hands, there is a huge library upstairs which you have kept alive and going for 20 years, cataloguing, refreshing, integrating new books. And if we are the people of the book, what does that make our librarian? It's always a good question. I always ask that question. So you have effectively been the keeper of the people of the book for 20 years. It's been a privilege, she said. I think it's our privilege and our delight to have you here, to honor you with this Aliyah to Torah, and to say Mazel Tov, as you hand the baton on perhaps to others, but you will always be cherished here in our congregation, and our library will always be a tribute to your work. Mazel Tov.
Mazel
Shabbat
Tov.
Shalom.
And it's lovely as well, Jean, that we have your son Bernie here, who came with you this morning to celebrate and enjoy this moment. And so for our third Aliyah and our last Aliyah of this morning, the call to reading of Torah, all those who are here to remember a loved one, who are here for Yatzat, Siamdu Lalia Torah Kola Evelim, we call to the reading of Torah, those who are here to remember. Our Torah reading continues on page 1474, 1474, and it will flip over to the next page. We're Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 5.
Once again, page 1474, left-hand column, second line from the bottom, beginning of that line. 1474, left-hand column, second line from the bottom, beginning. ודיברו השוטרים ברוך אדוני מבורך לעולם ועד
ברוך אדוני מבורך לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בחרנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
ודיברו השטרים אל העם לאמור, מי האיש אשר בנה בית חדש ולא חנכו, ילך וישוב לביתו, פן ימות במלחמה, ואז ואישה אחר יחנכנו. ומי האיש אשר נטע כרם ולא היללו, ילך וישוב לביתו, פן ימות במלחמה, ואיש אחר יחלנו. ומי האיש אשר ארז אישה ולא לקחה, ילך וישוב לביתו, פן ימות במלחמה, ואיש אחר יקחנה. ויאספו השוטרים לדבר אל העם, ואמרו, מי האיש הירא ורך חלביו, ילך וישוב לביתו, ולא ימאס את לבב אחריו כלבבו והיה כי קולות השוטרים לדבר אל העם ובגדו שרי צבאות
בראש העם. חזקי.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתנו תורת הדיבן וחיי עולם נתת תבינו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן.
Amen. Mishaberach Avotenu v'Hamitzach v'Yakov v'Imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. May the God of our ancestors bless you as you call together on this Shabbat to Torah in memory of the loved ones who you hold in your hearts at this time. For some of you, your mourning is more recent than others. For some, it goes back decades, it goes back years. But the memories you hold on to so tight with your hearts and with your minds, and taking what was good in their lives and trying to bring that into the forefront of the work that you do, into your family, into children, into grandchildren. May their values continue to be that shining light as you remember at this moment, especially as we head into the high holidays, and to picture that and imagine that again without your loved ones next to you. But their soul, their spirit, their memories will always be with you as we wish you not just a long life, but a good life. And we say, Amen. And so, my friends, in the presence of Torah, we take a few moments to think of those members of our congregation and community who are in need of healing. Healing of body, healing of mind, healing of soul. We're on page 371.
Mi sheberach avotei v'kor habracha limoteinu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us sing Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu v'kor habracha le'avoteinu. There's those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us sing Amen.
For the blessing of healing, we share the names of Alden Tata, Gabriel Batyitzak Devorah, Annette French, Sue Brown, Rona Zinger, Don Williams, Nisim Yona Ben Natan Shmuel Vasheli, Or Ben Miriam Yuval, Ruth Myers, Glennis Perry, Ruth Taft, Ron Aarons, Adira Bat Rachel, Bella Magid, Hannah Bat Dora, Mel Wright, Rosemary Moore, Morris Mark, Douglas Simons, Diana Bliss, Morris Elijah, Maya Shalom Ben Rachel, Pam Dean. If you'd like to share the name of a loved one for healing, I invite you to do so at this time. Baruch atah Adonai Rofet HaCholim. Blessed is God who brings healing and comfort to those who are unwell and strength to their caregivers. And we say, Amen.
Amen.
Let us rise for Hagbah and Glida as we lift and bless.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לבני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לבני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה.
We may be seated. Brenda Kahana is going to share with us the Haftarah reading this morning. Of course, it comes in the series of what we know as the fourth Haftarah of consolation. We started 4 weeks ago, and we got 3, and it also tells us if we're at the 4 and there are 7, we've got 3 more weeks to Rosh Hashanah. We're on page 1607, 1607.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza b'divreihem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'v'Moshe avdo u'v'Yisrael amo u'v'nviei ha'emet v'atzedek. I am he who comforts you. What ails you that you fear men who must die, mortals who fare like grass? You have forgotten the Lord your Maker, who stretched out the skies and made firm the earth. And you live all day in constant dread because of the rage of an oppressor who is aiming to cut you down. Yet of what account is the rage of an oppressor? Quickly the crouching one is freed. He is not cut down and slain, and he shall not want for food. For I, the Lord your God, who stirred up the sea into roaring waves, whose name is the Lord of hosts, have put my words in your mouth and sheltered you with my hand. I who planted the skies and made firm the earth, and have said to Zion, you are my people. Rouse, rouse yourself. Arise, O Jerusalem. You who from the Lord's hand have drunk the cup of his wrath. You who have drained to the dregs the bowl, the cup of reeling. She has none to guide her of all the sons she bore. None takes her by the hand of all the sons she reared. These 2 things have befallen you, wreck and ruin. Who can console you? Famine and sword. How shall I comfort you? Your sons lie in a swoon at the corner of every street, like an antelope caught in a net, drunk with the wrath of the Lord, with the rebuke of your God. Therefore listen to this, unhappy one, who are drunk but not with wine. Thus said the Lord, your God who champions his people. Herewith I take from your hand the cup of reeling, the bowl, the cup of my wrath. You shall never drink it again. I will put it in the hands of your tormentors who have commanded you. Get down that we may walk over you, so that you made your back like the ground, like a street for passers-by. Awake, awake, O Zion, clothe yourself in splendor. Put on your robes of majesty, Jerusalem, holy city. For the uncircumcised and the unclean shall never enter you again. Arise, shake off the dust. Sit on your throne, Jerusalem. Loose the bonds from your neck, O captive one, fair Zion. For thus said the Lord, you were sold for no price, and you shall be redeemed without money. For thus said the Lord God, of old my people went down to Egypt to sojourn there, but Assyria has robbed them, giving nothing in return. What therefore do I gain here, declares the Lord? For my people have been carried off for nothing. Their mockers howl, declares the Lord. And constantly, unceasingly, my name is reviled. Assuredly, my people shall learn my name. Assuredly, they shall learn on that day that I, the one who promised, am now at hand. How welcome on the mountain are the footsteps of the herald, announcing happiness, heralding good fortune, announcing victory, telling Zion, your God is king. Hark, your watchmen raise their voices. As one they shout for joy, for every eye shall behold the Lord's return to Zion. Raise a shout together, O ruins of Jerusalem, for the Lord will comfort his people, will redeem Jerusalem. The Lord will bear his holy arm in the sight of all the nations, and the very ends of the earth shall see the victory of our God. Turn, turn away, touch naught unclean as you depart from there. Keep pure as you go forth from there, you who bear the vessels of the Lord. For you will not depart in haste, nor will you leave in flight, for the Lord is marching before you. The God of Israel is your rear guard. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, tzadik b'chol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, ha'mdaber u'mkayim, shechol devarav, emet v'tzedek. Al ha'torah v'al ha'avodah v'al ha'nevi'im, v'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, shenatatan lanu Adonai Eloheinu, likdusha v'limnucha, v'chavod u'l'tefaret. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, v'amachim otach, yitbarach shimcha, b'fi kolcha, tamid leolam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen. Yeshakachet. Beautiful reading. My friends, let us rise now for the prayer for our country and the state of Israel, page 377.
Let us bless our country of Australia and all its people. Let us have dreams in this historic land of dreamers. Let the hot winds from the desert fire our imagination. Let the red soil of the plains keep us rooted to the things that matter. Let the waters of our rivers, lakes and oceans flow into our hearts, giving us depth and understanding. Keep our eyes open to the beauty of this land. May we strive to keep its beauty present and strong. Help us remember those who have lived in this land before us and those who have made it their home in more recent times. May we never be lazy in the work for peace. May we honour those who have died in defence of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they lead with justice and compassion. Let our compassion be like the encompassing coastlines of our continent. May acceptance, kindness and peace live steadily within this ancient and enduring land. Amen.
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 For the state of Israel, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Amen. We remain standing as we return the Torah to the Ark. We're on page 374.
יהללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו. אונו עליהם בשמים, וירד קרן לעמו, תהילה לבנות חסידיו, לבני ישראל עם קרובו. לגב טוב נתתי לכם, תורתי אל תעזבו, בחיים היא למחזיקים בה, ותומכיה מאושר, דרכיה דרכי נועם, וכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו אדוני
almost as deep as yours at the moment. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I am going to need just a couple of volunteers to help me hand out some of these sheets. I think one between two. They could be enough almost for for everybody. Thank you. So, if I can ask just a brief question, feel free to shout out. Of the natural disasters that are happening in the world today, what springs to your mind? Natural disasters, the things we have no control over. Hurricane Dorian, which as we know has decimated parts, not all of the Bahamas, but a major island of the Bahamas, which is absolutely flat now. They reckon it'll take maybe 10 years to get it back to where it was. What else?
Bushfires in Queensland.
The bushfires in Queensland and northern New South Wales, which I heard overnight 10 houses have been lost. Anything else? Earthquakes that are happening. Was there an earthquake recently? You're right about earthquakes in general. But what else?
Fires in the Amazon.
The fires in the Amazon. Did you hear that Israel has sent a team? They always send a team to somewhere. So they've sent a team to the Amazon because that is a major destruction. You know the term that I'm sure you've all heard on the news and on the TV, the term that they've used for the Amazon is it's the world's lungs. The lung of the world because of its incredible. And anything else?
Sexual assault of children by religious institutions.
Well, yeah, that's a different topic though. It's not a natural disaster. But it's one of the tragedies of injustices in the world, assault. Anything else? Jackie, your hand was up. Chicken? Anybody else? So just climate change in general, or as some are starting to begin to call it climate crisis, that we are in a climate crisis. I want to just bring up we always forget, not always forget, the Great Barrier Reef, which as we know, it's not only facing the bleaching of the coral, but they've started to see runoff from some of the mines in northern Australia, northeastern Australia, starting to run off into the water. There's a lot that's going on environmentally. That's not necessarily a natural disaster. You got me back, Barbie. But there's a lot that's happening, and there's droughts as well here in Australia and around the world. And even though one of the things I heard about Mugabe's death was that still there's droughts in Zimbabwe, so there's still no food for the people of Zimbabwe, or Rhodesia, as some of us knew it. So the question we say is, what do we do about it? If we can look at all of this and we can say, we're in absolute crisis, and sometimes crisis can paralyze us, or sometimes crisis can move us to action. But I thought I'd go back and look at what the Torah says, and it is embedded in this Torah. But what the Torah says is our responsibility towards the land. And of course, we have no control over natural disasters. We can't control how much speed and the wind of Hurricane Dorian picks up. But of course we know that our actions do affect the climate. Now we can say, well, what do we do about it? Last night in the city, there was I've got to say I love the name. I don't always love the work, but I love the name. The Extinction Rebellion. So what did they do? Their whole mandate is disruption. Disruption for the environment, because as they say as part of their credo, we are facing an unprecedented global emergency. The government has failed to protect us. To survive, it's going to take everything we've got. The time for denial is over. We know the truth about climate change. It's time to act. We know it's time for act. We know that it's been time to act since the time of Torah, because the Torah has called us to act and has challenged us in how we relate to the environment. During the week, I was teaching the Melton class, and we're teaching the story of creation. And it was very clear that in Bereshit, it says that Bereshit in Genesis, in part of the building of the world, of the universe, God puts us in there as caretakers, as shomrim, as guardians of the earth. To be a guardian of the earth doesn't mean to use the earth for our own end. And the Torah portion says, and these are the environmental factors within this week's Torah portion, it says, when you lay siege to a city for a long time, fighting against it to capture it, do not destroy the trees by putting an axe to them, because you can eat their fruit. Do not cut them down. Are the trees people? You should besiege them. However, you may cut down trees that you know are not fruit trees and use them to build siege works until the city at war with you falls. Two parts in that text. One, you can't cut down fruit trees that are going to give you sustenance. You cannot destroy them. And then on the other hand, it's saying, of course, there's certain things that you may need to do to protect yourself to ensure your own survival. Another interesting part in the Torah portion that continues a little bit is that it continues under this command of what we understand as Bal Tashchit, to not destroy, referring to humanity and the environment, is that it says that we must not crossbreed livestock, planting a field with mixed seeds, wearing a garment of mixed wool and linen. These aren't mitzvot, but they are called chukim, statutes. And the reason, and let me ask, why are we commanded not to mix linen? What's wrong with mixing wool and silk, or silk and linen, or what's wrong with that? What's wrong with taking one breed and trying to mix it or breed it with another breed, both of animals as well as plants? What's wrong with that? Why does the Torah forbid it?
It's a way of separating the community from the communities around them.
Okay, so kind of like the argument for kashrut. We want to separate ourselves out from other people. That's one answer. Somebody else in that area was talking. Sorry, yeah.
It's very often sterile. Cannot breed further.
You're saying keeping a sense of sterility?
No. If you cross a horse with a mule.
I really can't hear you.
If you cross a horse with a donkey, they're sterile. The mule's sterile.
Yeah, so if you cross a horse with a donkey, it's sterile. That's a great reason. Anything else? Ruja? Respect for the specialness of the breed. Jackie?
Because wool is animals eat plants. It's similar to...
Sorry, Esther called you Jackie by mistake.
Yeah, it's similar to where it says, when you talk about thou shalt not see a kid in its mother's milk, it's a similar sort of...
There's a sense of humanitarian aspect. So you're all right, but ultimately there's another reason. The reason is if we take one thing and we try to mix it with something else, we are in a sense playing God. We are playing God. So many people have said to me, and this is going off on a slight tangent, everybody knows, I think everybody knows I went through IVF, and said, so Rabbi, did you have a chance to choose the gender or the sex of the baby? And my response was no, but I wouldn't want to, because I don't want to play God like that. That's a conversation we can have, a bigger conversation of another thing. But I think what it's also saying to us is, do not play God. God created the world. Do not think that you have so much power, so much authority that you can play God. Of course, what comes into that as well is this idea that perhaps by working with science and manipulating science or changing science or challenging science, we can save lives. We can potentially create solutions for the lack of food in the world, or the overconsumption by some countries of food to provide food for others, or try to come up with solutions, environmental solutions through science and playing with science to help the sustainability of the world. I want to take you to your sheet. Ian.
To me, that doesn't explain the laws of sharpness.
The laws of Shacharit?
Yes.
Why not?
I can't see.
Shacharit is the mixing of wool and linen.
Yeah, I can't see what the problem is, either environmentally or.
Well, I also think we need to consider that our biblical ancestors didn't necessarily have the sophistication that we do today in understanding it. I think that's possible one. I think the other one is something that Neil raised, keeping the community separate, to have that. Certainly the idea of playing God or of doing this, and it's a different form of crossbreeding, not logical for us. John, you're just staring at me. Rabbi Levi.
I don't see any problem.
You don't see any problem. Most people don't. But also, we also recognize that there are some things in the Torah that we may not understand. We know there's lots of that, and that might feel like a cop-out. Let us jump. It is. Thank you, Ian. It's lovely to have you in shul. Let's jump to this text from the Babylonian Talmud, because I think this is where it comes to the call to action. I referred to this a little bit in my drush as part of the Shabbat Weekly, the Babylonian Talmud. You guys don't have a sheet, do you? I was going to ask you to read, Michelle. So, the Babylonian Talmud. John, could you read for us? Could you stand with a big loud voice?
All who can protest against something wrong that one of their family is doing and does not protest is held accountable for their family. All who can protest against something wrong that a citizen of their city is doing and does not protest is held accountable for all citizens of the city. All who can protest against something wrong that is being done in the whole world is accountable together with all citizens of the world.
So this takes me back to another saying, Kol Yisrael Aravim Zeh B'Zeh. All of Israel is responsible for one another. And by default, we can say, Allah Chakama V'Kama, is using the Talmudic expression. How much the more so, not just within our community, but extending part of our community, because we don't live in little shtetls where our impact doesn't affect other people. How much the more so is it our responsibility to act, and to be involved in the world, to take responsibility. And it says that the responsibility is on each and every one of us. It starts with the particular family, and then it goes to the universal of community and to the world, that each one of us has that responsibility to act. Each one of us also has to find the place that is most comfortable for us. Perhaps it is going to the Rebellion Extinction rally. Perhaps it's writing to our local politicians to find that cause environmental, to stand up and say, this is not just about me today, but remember, Torah and Judaism also teaches us it's about the future. It's about our children, it's about our grandchildren, and generations we will never know. The next text I'd like to share with you also comes from the Talmud. Neil, could you read that in a big loud voice? Thank you.
Our sages taught, a certain man was removing stones from his domain to the public domain, and a pious man found him doing so, and said to him, Fool, why do you remove stones from a domain that is not yours to a domain which is yours? So the man laughed at him. A while later, the man had to sell his field and was walking on this same public domain where he put the stones. And he stumbled over those very same stones. He said to himself, the pious man was right when he said to me, why do you remove stones from a domain that is not yours to a domain which is yours?
Thank you. What do you take from this text? What stands out for you? Hermie, you were going to say Ruja?
What you have, you may have today and not tomorrow, but the public domain is always yours.
Right. What you have today, you may not have tomorrow, but the public domain belongs to everyone. It says that, and I think it says something else as well, to add to that. Whatever we do within our private space is our private space, and we may lose our private space. But if we do something that impacts directly in the public space, that's always going to impact us. Impact us. We take stones and we place it. A simple example, I think, is if I'm moving stuff from my house onto the verge, into the public domain, I'm likely to trip over that stuff just as much as a stranger. That's a very simplified reason or example to give. But we must remember what affects, what we do directly does affect the public domain, and we interact and we're part of the public domain too. You heard it.
It reminds me of when people use those blowers to blow the leaves on the grass onto the street, and then when it rains, it blocks the gutters for everyone, including themselves.
Right. So it's not just about blowing the leaves into your neighbour, it's blowing it into the street, which blocks the gutters, which can cause mass issues for the entire neighbourhood. So I think we're getting a sense here that our responsibility is clear, and it has been clear for us since the very beginning of Torah. The Torah is pushing us and charging us to take care of the earth, to understand the importance of the environment. The Talmud takes that and pushes us even further, understanding what our impact is. I'd like to share with you with our last text, as we are heading towards the high holidays, environmental al-chet. It was written quite a few years ago. You can tell by the language. The al-chet is really for the sin or the ways that we have wronged God. And so if I could get one more volunteer to read this text for me. Is there a hand up, Howard? Thank you.
Eternal our Creator, we awaken each morning to the dawn chorus of creation. Our ears hear the birds of the sky singing to the world that they are still alive. Our eyes see the flowers of the earth opening to the light of the sun. We smell the scents of the fresh morning air. How many are the things you've made, O God? The universe is full of your creations. And yet we ignore these sounds, sights and smells. Instead of the bird's song, we hear only the sound of cars and machinery. Instead of the sight of green, brown and gold, we see only the grey of concrete. Instead of the fragrance of flowers, we smell only the stink of pollution. We experience only the fruits of our own creation. We know only our own works, which too often have wasted your creation and silenced many of the voices of your choir. We think we understand the world when only a fool thinks they can fathom the depths of your designs. May you give us the strength and the wisdom to see, smell and listen to your creation and be moved to protect and cherish the blessings that you have given us. May we no longer be moved by greed and destruction to waste your world, for if we destroy it, there will be no other. We now know that the destruction of your creation is a sin. And so for the sin we have sinned against you by despoiling your creation, forgive us, forgiving God, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement.
I started with talking about natural disasters. We don't have control particularly over the natural disasters, but we know that our actions, individually and as a community and as a global community, can cause these natural disasters to be so much more severe through the way that we interact into the world with the rising water levels, through the ozone, the hole in the ozone, which was certainly something that was so prolific when I was growing up as a teenager, and through other things by just waste. The fact that we have to export our waste overseas because we don't have a way to control it here in Australia. I ask God to forgive us, each and every one of us, as individuals and as a community and as a global community, for not truly being custodians of the earth. Shabbat Shalom. And so as part of our call to action, we'll sound the shofar. We will not recite a blessing. This is not customary to recite a blessing during the month of Elul for the shofar. If you could please rise.
Tekiah Shevarim Tekiah Teruah Tekiah, Tekiah, Shevarim Teruah, Tekiah. We continue with Elaine on page 586. 586. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, לתת לעולם ליותר בראשית, שלא עזרנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמחנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עוונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומוכרים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Remain standing as we continue with the Mourner's Kaddish, which is on page 598. For the week of Shiva, we remember Thomas Jelinek, Leon Siegel, and Susan Wilder, and announce the passing of Josephine Salomon, who will be laid to rest tomorrow. And for the Shloshim, the 30 days, we remember Maya Abrams, Maya Andrea, Pamela Axe, Leah Brunstein, Henry Singler, Rose Guthrie, Damien Brunis, Gladys Kahn, Galena Milner, Sylvia Radolnik, Rose Rothfield, and Bernard Vallon. And the yard sites, the anniversaries of whose death fall on this Shabbat, we remember Bina Best, Gertrude Bach, Ray Brandon, Sadie Alexander Cohen, Alfred Francis, Kathleen Francis, Susie Glazer, Brendan Griffin, Carl Hershen, Leslie Honig, Ron Lowe, Pinchas Meisner, Marla Pfeffer, Max Phillips, Rebecca Pollock Truman, Rosa Reitberger, Michael Rossdale, Norman Rothman, Harold Sackville, Janie Schwartz, Benny Sloan, Noah Sloan, Lothar Steen, Karen Lee Topol, Faye Weiler Nass. If you'd like to mention the name of a loved one for Shiva, Shloshim, or Yahrzeit, please do so at this time.
Pinkus Lefkovich.
Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may the memory of the righteous be for a blessing as we join together Kaddish Yatom. V'kadal v'kadash shemei rabah, v'yamad divrach p'rtei v'yamlich malchutei, chayachon u'vyom echon v'v'chayed achol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'meru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei rabah v'barach l'olam l'amei almayah, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei l'kudusha v'richu, le'ela mikol berchata v'shirata, Tushmachata v'nechamata, Damiran v'yalma v'meru, Amen. Yehei shma meraba min Shemaya, Chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'imromav, Uyaseh shalom, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Hamakom Yenachem Echem B'Tov Sha'ar Havnei Tzion Yerushalayim. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, comfort to all who are bereaved in Zion and Jerusalem and around the world, and we say, Amen. Amen. As we are seated, our President, Rebecca, is going to make some announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi, and thank you, Michelle, Joel and Rua, for our liturgy, for uplifting us this morning. And welcome everyone to Temple Beth Israel on this rather mixed spring day. Whether you are here to pray in community or for Shabbat or in memory of a loved one, you're all very welcome. Happy birthday, Howard and Peter, and happy anniversary, Ian and Shane, George and Ruth, and thank you for celebrating with us. Some announcements. Do please, after Kiddush, stay with us for our second session on our new Machzor Rim, Mishkan Teshuvah. Last week we had a wonderful hour with Rabbi Levi, so please do join Cantor Lulum as he especially helps us to look into the liturgy in the new Machzor Rim. There's an amazing amount of scholarship and wonderful work in our new book, so do stay on to learn a little bit more about them. Tomorrow, Sunday, TBI Film Club will be on, and the film is Last Cab to Darwin, which is a road trip drama, 7 o'clock for the film here at TBI. Next door, our Young 20s and 30s group, their next function will be on the 22nd of September, and they are going on a bus trip to the Mornington. They're having a day of fresh fruit, honey and great company. People can go onto our website or their Facebook page for details. Slichot is on the 21st of September and Rosh Hashanah on the 29th. It's all rapidly approaching. So do check that you have received your tickets. Contact the office if you haven't. And details also of family tickets for family services are available on our website. If you have pre-ordered your Machzor Rim, then do please come in during office hours and collect them. And on a Monday and Thursday, you can come in up until 6 o'clock. If you haven't pre-ordered, you can simply come in and purchase your Machzor Rim. Thank you, Yaja, for being our shamash today. Thanks to Rena and Caroline for laning. And I'd like to thank my fellow board members, Robert, John, Simon, Joanne and Charles. Have I missed anyone out? Thank you for being here in attendance. After the final song, join us for Kiddush, and please return your books to the trolley. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, and just along the lines of being custodians of the land, John Hillel has just mentioned that the Repair Cafe will be open tomorrow from 2 to 5. What was the address?
55A Blessington Street, St Kilda, Port Phillip Eco Centre.
Port Phillip Eco Centre, 55A Blessington Street. So if you would like to, rather than sending your goods to landfill, if you would like to repair them, save yourself a small fortune, come see John. He will give you more details about it. It runs twice a month?
No,
once a month. And we will be hosting them here on Mitzvah Day, hopefully, if all goes to plan, on the 17th of November, where this idea of, instead of sending all our things to landfill, all you have to do is repair them and then use them. We are on page 631 as we conclude with the words of a Ladino version of Ein Kelohim. Ein Kelohim, Ein Kalonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, non come vuestro Dios, non come vuestro Señor, non come vuestro Rey, non come vuestro Salvador. Mi Elohim, mi Kemalkeinu, mi Kemoshienu, Él come vuestro Dios, Él come vuestro Señor, Él come vuestro Rey, Él come vuestro Salvador. Lord, haremos a nuestro Dios, lo haremos a nuestro Señor, lo haremos a nuestro Rey, lo haremos a nuestro Salvador. Baruch Elohim, Baruch Adonai, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshiach, bendito nuestro Dios, bendito nuestro Señor, bendito nuestro Rey, bendito nuestro Salvador. Atau Elohim, Atau Adonai, Atau Malkeinu, Atau Moshiach, tú sos nuestro Dios, tú sos nuestro Señor, tú sos nuestro Rey, tú sos nuestro Salvador.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Please join us for Kiddush.
Shabbat Shalom. If you'll join us in the Shlom Hall, we'll begin with Kiddush and Motzi. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי 6 ימים מסע אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת וינפש על כן ברך את יום השבת ויקדשהו סברי מרנן ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן L'chaim. Oh, there was an amen in the background. Good on you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Pull. You go. Yeah. Okay. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shalom.
we're missing one Rosh Hashanah piece. I know you allocated me one, but I didn't